Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crackers and Milk, Shooting the Breeze.
Shooting the breeze, man.
With Mike and Dave.
Yeah.
We are, like we have been, going through TV episodes. Right now, the series that we are going through is The Office. Which we are always excited to talk about because it's The Office. And The Office is always fun. And all of that stuff. So, the last episode we talked about was season 1, episode 6. So we are going through this chronologically. So we are going to do season 2, episode 1, which is called The Dundies.
The Dundies.
And this was aired September 20th, 2005.
Holy cow.
Dude, that's so crazy.
I can't believe it.
Like, when Jan was calling, well, anyways, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
And then our synopsis. So what we've decided to do with our synopsis, instead of reading an episode summary, we've actually decided to play or read some lines that explain the episode.
Yeah, something
basically.
Just like a scene that you go, oh, is this kind of what this is about? I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's what we are going to do. So we are. Do you want me to read it or do you want to read it?
Yeah, you go ahead because this is just Michael speaking. I don't think there's a two-person on this one.
So this is Michael, and he's saying, Michael, tonight is the Dundies, the annual employee awards here at Dunder Mifflin. Holds trophy of a businessman. And this is everybody's favorite day. Everybody looks forward to it because, a lot of people here don't get trophies very often. Like Meredith or Kevin. I mean, who's going to give Kevin an award? Dunkin' Donuts? Plus, bonus, it's really, really funny. So an employee will go home and he'll tell his neighbor, hey, did you get an award? And the neighbor will say, no, man. I mean, I slave all day and nobody notices me. Next thing you know, employee smells something terrible coming from the neighbor's house. Neighbors hanged himself due to the lack of recognition. So
It's okay. So deep thought, right? Michael just thinks this is the best. Because here's what I think is Michael is comparing himself to the scenario he lays out.
Yeah.
He's like, well, if I were just a lowly employee, and maybe that's what he thought of when he was under Ed Truck, right? Ed Truck was the previous manager. And Ed Truck was no fun, according to Michael in later episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's like, well, gosh, when I worked for Ed, I felt like I didn't get any recognition. I worked so hard, which we do find out Michael is a freaking amazing salesman.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap.
Which is and that's fun to see that he is that amazing salesman.
Oh, yeah. I love that. So I just think that he wants to do what he wants. And that's what I would do. If I were boss of some, like at my work, I always think, oh, I would do this. I would do this. And that's where Michael's at. He's in a position to be, I'm going to do this in the Dundies.
See, and then that's the one thing that is interesting is when you recognize somebody.
Yeah.
How much they do like it. And see, that's the interesting part is when they cut to everybody. They cut to Pam. They cut to Oscar, who's been there quite a bit, to talk about it, where Pam's like, it's like a car wreck. And like your boss is forcing you to look at it. And then, Oscar, he'll say something like, yeah, it's like a 5-year-old birthday party where, they're having fun, but you really have nothing to do. Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting that it does that. They do that and they don't, they don't care.
They don't appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
Michael does. I mean, later, while he's hosting the Dundies, right?
Yeah.
he is sweating bullets.
Oh,
It's an act for him. He just loves it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, at least we're getting dinner paid for. At least they have in the past.
Yeah.
This Dundies. He's like, invite everybody. But you have to
Pay your own. And then, like, Roy gets up and leaves, and Daryl, and then Ryan turns to Jim. He's like, hey, you staying? Yeah, you got to eat someplace.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Yeah, might as well eat here.
And see, that was the interesting, like, it was really interesting, and I really do enjoy where Jim or, Michael is giving these awards. He's ruining all these songs, or, according to Jim, ruining all these songs.
Yeah,
and it's like, one thing you need to do is turn down the music a little bit and just get the song.
Yeah.
Not the whole, not them rapping.
Right.
Because you're going over them, and you can hear them so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, well, if you want people to know your songs, get the instrumental of the song,
Right.
not the word of the song.
Right.
And then you practice it.
Yeah.
And he did a great job. And two of my favorites, of course, is Ryan's award.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was always funny. That joke was always funny, but also, like, as you learn more and more about The Office, where it made Ryan or BJ Novak so uncomfortable that it was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny, and it's so inappropriate. Like, it's like, oh, this is weird.
Actually, so one of the next episodes is the fire.
Yeah.
And in there, they're playing the game.
Yeah.
And who would you do?
Yeah.
And Michael's like, Ryan.
I definitely have sex with Ryan.
Exactly.
And you're like,
and you know what's crazy is I am not sure, but I was looking at the taping of season 2.
yeah.
And the fire, I think, was before.
Oh.
So it's kind of fun because so that would make sense for the Dundee to go to Ryan, because Michael's already prefaced that he loves him, basically.
And that's the one thing that's so interesting is you get that every season with Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Like, he can do no wrong.
No wrong.
In Michael's eyes until season 7.
Yeah.
With Holly. When finally Michael finds the person that he loves and cares about, and he cares about her more than he cares about anybody else. Yeah. And it's like, Ryan, you got to do this and do it.
Yeah.
You don't have any more time. This is what you have to do. And he's like, oh.
And this is this with Wolf?
Yeah, this is with Wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah.
I love that.
So it's just so interesting the start of this relationship where it's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Michael really adores Ryan, wants to be like Ryan because he's such a cool guy and all that stuff. And then you have the sibling rivalry with Dwight, in another episode. Yeah. But yeah, it's like you could see it in the Dundies, like when Dwight's taking out Michael with the light.
Yeah.
He's like, watch your step. And then Michael says, hey, good job on this. And he's like, oh, thanks. And then he just looks at Ryan like, yeah, that's right, Tim. I'm awesome. You're not.
Yeah.
It's just that jealousy,
Right.
that just that jealousy that does so well. And then, like, I was happy Roy and Daryl left. Like,
They're kind of jerks.
Yeah, they're warehouse guys. They're not in office people. And to me, Dundies is in office or in that office area, not warehouse.
Well, and Pam was watching one of the previous Dundies, right?
Yeah.
And that's where she's just dreading that Michael's going to do the longest engagement award. But in that taping, Roy loves it. He thinks it's so funny. He's like, oh,
see you next year.
See you next year, yeah.
We hope not. But. And then, like, Jim, where he challenged Michael, he's like, oh,
that was good.
You're lazy.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
It kills every year.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but it's lazy, dude.
Yeah.
Gotta work on some new material. Like what actually like how perfect that is. Like that line where he comes in and tells Michael that is perfect because
Yeah,
it offends Michael.
it does.
Yeah, because he's funny.
Oh yeah,
And wait, you're calling me lazy?
yeah.
Even though the real reason to tell him that is Pam
To
doesn't
watch
like
out
it.
for Pam. Yeah.
Right. So, but it's a great way to get Michael to respond is
Oh yeah.
pissing him off.
Pissing him off and like challenging him to think of something else.
Yeah.
And then the Whitest Sneakers Award.
The White Sneakers Award.
I thought that was it was good and clever, but you never see
her sneakers.
never see her sneakers,
No.
even after.
No.
Like I don't even remember when she became a saleswoman
Right.
that you saw her foot. Like
Yeah.
feet, you could see Jim's feet, Dwight's shoes, and all that stuff, but Pam's.
No. Yeah.
It was so interesting because when I was talking to, we were watching it last night, me and Olivia, just to prepare more, like just to see, okay, what am I going to say? And it's like, yeah, you never see those again.
Never. Her kicks.
Her kicks, yeah, her kids, weren't they her kids?
Her kicks.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And then, and then you have the Spicy Curry Award, Kelly questioning him on that.
Yeah, why me?
It's not everything has a meaning. It's such a joke. Well, what's the joke? And then you have the guys that were being rude to, that kind of like,
Who would do that? I would never interrupt an office party and yell at somebody and throw something at them.
And I wonder if that's something that we would never do, because like the culture that we grew up, we would never do that. We would respect people and be like, hey, good job. You did your best. Because I remember one lady, for my mission farewell, my family sang. We sang Child's Prayer.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know what? You guys are terrible singers, but you guys tried your best. And it was like,
why?
Yeah.
Why though?
Well, like, and I understand what she's saying, but it was like, she said it nicely.
Yeah.
Now those guys, they're like, shut up, sing something else, do something else. Like you're entertaining me. And it's like, no, I'm entertaining these people. And then, it's like, one time my sister got mad, one of my sisters. We were doing this restaurant, and me and her like practiced before, and we were going to do it. She was really super excited. And then something went on where she just got mad. I don't know why. Maybe something was said and all that stuff. And so she gets mad and she gets disappointed, so she leaves. And then, my mom and dad said, hey, you need to come back and let's take a picture and let's do this, right? And so that's what happened. But it's like, that's what this is. Like, Michael, it was like, okay, I'm kind of done. I'm just done. And the best joke, that Kevin joke was the best.
Oh, good, yeah.
Where it was just like, okay, that's funny.
That is funny.
And then Pam and Jim, who are the neutral people in this whole show, say, no, Mike, let's go. They're the rooters on. Yeah. And then you started, then you had a shot of Toby laughing, of Oscar laughing, of all these people
Stanley
laughing at
enjoying it now.
Yeah, so it's just like, and him joking about Kev and all that stuff. It's just like, before, I think the best line too was when Michael goes, well, thanks for listening for those who listened.
Yeah.
And I turned to Olivia and I go, that's like a teacher. It's like, well, if you listen, great. If you don't listen, well, thanks for listening for whoever listened to me. Because like a lot of teachers, like they'll get bunches of questions like, hey, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? It's like, I explained this already.
Yeah, why aren't you listening?
Well, yeah. And so it's like him saying that, I was like, oh, that's a good line.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know.
Yeah,
there was a lot of fun with it.
They had a lot of fun. Another throwback to the beginning is when Michael's trying to convince Jan to go.
Yeah.
Because once again, Michael loves parties, right?
Yeah.
He's the boss. And so he's like, well, why? you did the 050505 party already.
For no apparent reason.
And he's like, it only happens every billion years. And then the fundraiser for AIDS, and
that was clear. Fundraiser.
FUN.
Razor.
Which is great because he does these things all the time. He does the rabies run. Oh man, I love the message that Pam gives for that rabies run. And this is Dunder Mifflin. And he's like, okay, what did they say? They hung up.
Yeah, so true.
And it's fun. Michael's great.
And when Michael, he's getting ready, he's waiting for his act.
Yeah.
And he says, like, what you wrote down.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
You want to read it?
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's so freaking hot in there. Now I know what Bob Hope is going through when he performed in Saudi Arabia. I have Dwight sucking the funny out of the room. I love, like, when he's trying to land the first joke.
Yeah.
And Dwight's like, we don't have a woman in HR.
Right.
Is that like an AIDS test? Like, he's like 6 pages of paperwork, like an AIDS test. It's just like, what?
Dwight takes jokes so literally, which is so funny. He doesn't get the punchline, doesn't get any of that. He's like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, so funny. So, yeah, like this episode, see, you have the first 6 which were really good, or were good.
Yeah.
And then you have this one. It was kind of a reset.
Yeah.
I feel it was a reset.
Yeah, it felt like a new beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this was a great episode to start, to get you hooked into Michael, how awkward he is and how awkward it all is. But you still have that, I feel bad for the guy.
Well, maybe if we were to recommend to people listening is watch this episode first instead of the first season, because a lot of people watch the first season and go,
why?
Wasn't that great?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's funny, you know. This is good. I think the writers are like, okay, well, NBC just gave us 24 episodes. Let's go crazy.
And see, this first season, the second season and third season, feel are the best seasons that they had. Right. There's no better seasons that they had at all than these first 2.
That is just so good. I think even season 4 or 5 could have been better.
Yeah.
If they developed more characters. Like, I would have loved to see more into Stanley and more into Phillips, more into Creed.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of even wish we brought Devin back earlier instead of the last season, which that would have been fun to go into Devin's life. But.
Yeah, I think also, like, Toby.
Yes!
Like,
we need to know his ex-wife.
But also, like, understand the dynamic of why Michael hates him.
Yes,
because that's never been.
No.
That's never been.
He's in HR.
Explained,
he's corporate, and you hate him.
But that's it.
But yeah, give me some.
Why? Yeah,
why are you so mean to him?
Yeah, there has to be a backstory behind it and all that stuff.
To be, and I bet it's hilarious.
And the one thing I want to bring up is Dwight. Yeah. He said, "Welcome to the 8th annual Dundies Awards." Well, but in season 1, it says he's only been the manager for 4 years.
That's right. Good question.
And like when you get it in season 7 where he's changing over to Will Ferrell, he's like, this. It seems more like his legacy. So it's like, I don't understand this part where they didn't match up timelines.
Yeah.
Where it should have just said, well, this is the 4th annual Dundies Award.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay,
awesome.
Shooting the breeze. Crackers and milk. Any podcast, most podcasting formats, and YouTube. Come check us out. Subscribe, rate, and give a comment.
Awesome.